Hello world, because I am a nerd and I could not resist. Hello, 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 I am DittoArchivist, and this is my cloud island on Pokopia. It is my first ever video to the internet that I have tried to record like 3 times. So, 3rd time's the charm maybe? Whatever time this is the charm. Anyway, welcome, welcome, welcome. Please be patient, please be kind. If you cannot be either, the close button is your friend. This video is going to be the first of what I'm calling my show and tell series, where I go around my cloud island, and eventually probably my main game, and just show off things that I am proud of. And I am very nervous, very excited. A little bit about me. This is the introduction video after all. I've been playing Pokemon for a while. Let's just say I still have my red, blue, and yellow cartridges and the Game Boy Color to play them on. I also enjoy making spreadsheets. I am such a nerd. I make spreadsheets. A lot of the times it's mostly inventory tracking, like you gather resources and then you make stuff with the resources. And I want to know, okay, how much do I need total to make like one of everything in the game usually? And also like, what can I safely sell? What do I not need to keep for something later? And so I build spreadsheets. And I have a lot of fun doing that. Hopefully soonish I'm going to learn how to turn the spreadsheets into like web apps, because that seems like something fun. I am a nerd. Anyway, so today is just going to be a basic introduction to my island and a more in-depth show-off of what I call Litter Lane. You can probably guess that's where most of my litter Pokemon, actually all of my litter Pokemon, are situated. Let's get started. That will be its own video someday. All right, first below us. So one of the people I follow on YouTube is Austin John Plays. Excellent, excellent content, highly recommend. And one thing he did on his Pokopia Island was make a park based on, the one that comes to mind is I think the Gold Silver Bug Park, where you have the Pokeball in the center. And I liked that idea, so I decided to, copying is a sincere form of flattery. I did want to, however, to have the road going north and south, and so I turned the Pokeball on its side. But yeah, the red actually I'm very pleased with, because I was going to do flowers, but I didn't have enough red flowers. So I just pulled up grass as a placeholder, and it happened to be from the mountain biome. And so it was red, and I'm like, no, this works. Let's keep this. And then a little playground over there. And then continuing north, we built the cafe and the concert stage, and then I made a sort of a dance floor out of the light cubes. I'm very happy with it. Now you might be wondering why I have a gold road. Well, it is because I built my town, basically my island, the infrastructure to be in the shape of a Pokeball. So there's a big circle around the outer edge. And the top half of the circle is a rainbow. And so the gold road on this half of the Pokeball is the gold under the rainbow. It makes me happy. I enjoy stuff like that. So if we head south, so the main east-west road is built of these starry sky blocks. I think it's pretty. It took so long. Oh my gosh. Because it takes 10 of the glowy stones to make 1 stack of 10 starry sky. So it's a resource sink. So that took a minute. And then the bottom half of the Pokeball is just the regular Pokeball light cubes. Just left their natural color, saved so much paint, because the bottom Pokeballs are white. All right, that is also another video. So we are actually going to start at the very west end of Litter Lane. And so Litter Lane is where I have most of my prefab houses, mostly large ones. And then they are surrounded by fencing. Because for prefab houses, if you put litter Pokemon on them, then they litter around the house. If you put them in something like this, they will litter inside the house. And so you have to go in the house and gather all of it. No. So this puts the litter outside the house. And then you put a fence around it and leave like one spot open. And that spot is where all of the litter will accumulate. And so you just have to go to that one spot. You don't have to circle the house. You don't have to go inside the house. And if they're producing something that you have way too much of and you do not need more, you completely wall off the house and there's no more litter. And in here, I have the roly-poly line because they have both gather and burn. And thus they are next to my clay litterers. So theoretically, they can go gather up the clay and then put it in here and then turn it into bricks. Or I can gather the clay and turn it in there, put it in there. I'm so excited, I'm rushing my words, I need to slow down. And then eventually that will get turned into bricks. Also fun thing, I was looking for Volcarona to put in the twine house over there. And so just on top of Roly-Poly's house, I built a little magma pool. Annunciation. We can do this. And then also hot springs. Because I have heard that, well, one, I know that they like hot springs, the Pokemon in general. There are so many times I have like little two square hot spring things for various habitats. And I will find Pokemon in there, even though it's so small. So they like them, and I have heard that it encourages Pokemon to use their skills, such as gather. All right, next, this is my main base, my secret base. And it is buried in the ground because that means I can expand it as needed and not mess with the above ground footprint where I can, build most of the city. So this is actually modeled after a YouTuber named Delvox, Delvox. And they have a couple videos I like. And one of them was their storage video. I really liked the look of having the boxes in the wall and then the stairs up to the boxes and then the frames identifying the boxes. I really liked the look of this, and so that is what I did. My storage organization system is mostly following theirs, a little different here and there, but I very much enjoy it. We have stuff. And then here is my house. So in here, along the far wall, we have Chef Dente's home. So if I ever want to cook anything, both the implements are here, and Chef Dente, I can summon him to help. To the left, we have all of the dream dolls, as well as a jump rope trophy, just because. And a bed. And so if I need to go to a dream island, this is that. Pro tip, one of the reasons I have my base as an actual house instead of a prefab house is because if you put dolls in a prefab house, you can't actually summon Drifloon with them. It doesn't work, they have to be outside. Then we have our crafting area. We have a mirror if we want to change appearances. And then we have Smear Guru's house. Whenever I'm building, which is like most days, we summon him. So it's helpful to put him in a central location where I know where he's gonna be. Alrighty. This is the back end of my museum. That will be its own video. I am very proud of it though. Over here, we have my crop farms. And this is also, this and the berry farm. Crop and berry farms. And there also the mechanics are from Delvox's videos, where you have them with the water to hydrate them. But under the soil, you put smooth rocks. And so then you push a button in the back to basically cut off the water. And for this one, you drop muddy water on it because as the soil dries out, we will hit the button now. The crops will drop and then be swept into the middle. You can vaguely see it happening. Like with this red tomato, you can see it in the window, and eventually it will dry out. I'd probably need to put more smooth rocks under there to make it more efficient, but I rarely collect the crops anymore because I have a lot. I don't really need more. Oh, there it went. I think there's one still up here. Yep. Gonna wait for that to drop. But yeah, and then you press the button again to shut off the muddy water and put the clear water back in, fresh water. And it carries the crops forward. Are you going to dry out anytime this century? And then you can just stand here and suck them up. Oh yeah, you can see them floating in the muddy water in the center. And I think they're just floating. I don't think they're going forward yet. Seriously, dude. Yeah, I need more smooth rocks. Okay, we waited long enough. Yeah, you can see the crops dropping, and then they come this way. You unfortunately can't do it with wheat. Wheat has different mechanics than the other vegetables. And so wheat, you have to cut it or pick it up. Very simple. All right, and then we get to the berries. So the berries, this is just push to turn on, push to turn off, but the berries actually have a clock on them. So the idea is that as the magma moves, sensors will open and close the water gates. And so it will become a cycle of drying out the trees, dropping the berries, rehydrating the trees, sweeping the berries forward. What I found, though, is that sometimes I will leave, usually to a dream island, and I will come back, and this will have paused. And it will often pause when the trees are dry, which means if I leave without realizing it, I come back and there are no new berries. And so what I did was I installed this specific water gate into the otherwise infinite, supposedly, loop. There. It is connected to this button, but the button light is on, which should mean it's active, not pause, so got out of sync at some point. Anyway, and so then I can manually turn this on and off. And you see? Now one thing is, I have very little space between the tree and the back wall. And so sometimes berries will get stuck up top. So if I were to build this again, I would move that wall 1 block back. Excellent. I also put some grow lines in there. They all have the grow specialty, they're near to the stuff. It works. It works for me. And also natural ceiling, so dark, and they like dark. Alrighty. So then we come and we collect the berries. There is a lumberry that likes to just sit back there. Now note that if it is raining, the smooth rocks don't work. And in that case, you do have to come in here and manually headbutt the trees. I recommend headbutting the second and fourth trees because it will hit the trees on either side too. So only 2 headbutts per row, and it works pretty well. All right, this is also a Delvox design. Basically, I just put my own aesthetics on it. I like these windows better, and I only had resources for the certain blocks when I first built this. This is one of the first builds on my island, but I ended up really liking it. The stylish iron blocks, so I kept them. And then of course the skylights. All right, over here is my crushing station, where we have, as you can see in the top left, the baby fossils that like the dry environment. Then we have onyx and steelix, who also like the dry environment. And we have community boxes. So what happens is we gather the berries, and then we drop them in the appropriate box. And we can just wait for the crushers to spawn on their own and do this, or, you know, honey. And of course, someone always spawns inside the museum. All right, what color do we need? Well, you went there. You will send here. I'm not gonna go get them. Okay, and then we have our Pokemon Center. This is its own video. I am so incredibly proud of this. All right, but we did build a road underneath because I did not want to have to go around it every single time. Over here, this is basically my power plant under the tower. I have 10 total water wheels down here powering most of my island. And if I need more, I just put in more water wheels. Over here, we have Haxorus, and this is the example of why if you put a litterer in a not prefab house, they litter inside their house, and you have to go find it. Now over here, I have 4 prefab houses on my right side that are mostly gatherers, where the left is mostly litterers. And so just daily walk around, check. Since there are no rocks there, that means someone actually did their job. Nope, nope, leave the fluff. And gathered stuff. Yeah, gatherers are kind of hit and miss. But it's a nice thought. Might as well put them in an area where they might be successful. All right, yes, so we have the non-burnable garbage house. And behind them, we have a bunch of recyclers. So then you just gather non-burnable garbage and put it over there. This is the one where I usually put my waste paper instead of the burnable garbage. But you know, the Pokemon do not adhere to your own mental organization. And also in here is Minccino. I always get Minccino and Cinccino confused, but I'm pretty sure I looked it up yesterday and it was Minccino is the evolved form. And they have Gather, whereas everyone else, and Minccino, has Recycle. And so that works pretty well. And then we're going to go check this box. A lot of these are walled off because I don't need more vines, I don't need more twine, I don't need more fluff. We're doing all right without them. And then this is my smithy. I actually was looking for designs online and found one for Minecraft that had the house on top of the smithy. And I'm like, I like that. Let's do that. And so I did that. And I am very pleased with how it turned out. We have a little window. And we have a line of 6 smelting furnaces because there are 6 things you smelt pretty much. Glass, copper, iron ingots, gold ingots, Pokemetal, rare Pokemetal. And so I can have one of each going at the same time, or you know, whatever many of however much resources I have. And then here, I built the stairs to get up to the house and then realized I can put a small little house in here. And so I put the Charizard line in here, which is hilarious because sometimes I will summon them and all 3 of them will spawn in that itty bitty little house. And then they have problems, you know, moving and leaving. Poor things. But it's funny for me. Then up here, we have the Cinderace line, because they had been spawning in to my islands, and so I had them available to put here. And then I also had Torkoal. I'm like, rabbits and tortoise. I could not resist. So they are all in here. I am just now noticing that the fireplace has fireplace implements. Poker and whatever the shovel thingy is. Can you tell I've never had a real fireplace in my life that I have had to take care of? One of my parents took care of that when I was a very small child, and so I don't actually know how. And then up here is an attic. Eventually I'm probably going to put like Zubat and maybe Pidgey up here, the small flyers, so that they can... Wrong transformation. Because they're able to fly out the windows. Because I've discovered that the Pokemon don't really use the ladders. They'll use steps, they'll jump, you know, one block's worth of block steps. They'll use the lifts and the elevators. I've never seen them actually use the stairs. Not stairs, sorry. Wow, words. Words are hard. I've never seen them actually use the ladders. And so if I put someone in here, they need to fly and they need to be able to use the windows. All right, that, I believe, I love the Magikarps. I probably use them too much. But that is an introduction to my isle and an introduction to Litter Lane. And I have so much else to share. I am so excited. But I think that should be all for this video. Thank you so much for watching, and next time we will mostly be talking about that building straight ahead there, because that is my museum and I am very happy with it. And we will also be talking about various other Useful points of interest for potential visitors to my isle. Things that you can come and, you know, take pictures of so you can have it in your own game. Ah! Sorry. This is fun. This is exciting. Plop. No fall damage for the win. Okay. I think I got everything that I want on this video. So I'm going to sign off. Thank you again for watching. I hope you had a good time and hope to see you next time. Bye!